Hello, Legacy Sabers, Marsh here. So today we're going to talk about if, then, else statements, which are another kind of thing in our programming repertoire. It's kind of like the second part of if statements. So in programming, sometimes you're going to find that you want certain things to happen if certain values are typed in, and other things to happen if other values are typed in. These certain values are usually called what we call cases. So very commonly, they're called conditional statements. However, in most languages, you're going to call these if statements. And we talked about just if statements last, right? That was if something is true, something happened. Well, sometimes we want this optional else clause that's going to execute if the if condition evaluates to false. So if the if is false, we want something else to happen, right? So here's the general form in Python. So we got this if and then condition. So this is what we've learned already, right? The above here. So if condition colon, and then we had statements in there that it's tabbed in. Then you have this second portion, which is this else. And then we got the statements inside the else. Notice those are also tabbed in. So this else is connected to this if. Now here's the thing. Else's cannot live without an if. They're much too small to be all alone. So I need an if I want to place an else. Again, the condition is what we're checking to see if it's true or false. That could be something like, is age less than 9 or something along those lines. The statements are what do we want to have execute depending on where it's inside. So let's say if age is not less than 9, these statements inside the else clause would run. So this is if we're false and this is if we're true. Okay, let's take a look at an example. So I got age equals int input, please enter your age. So let's assume that they type in 19 for age. So now remember what happens. So in our computer's memory, there's a box formed for age, and we're going to place 19 in there. So first thing that's going to do is it's going to check its if statement. It's going to say if age, and it's like, oh, what's age? Oh, it's going to go look in its box, and it's going to go, oh yeah, age is 19. So it's going to check that, and then it's going to ask itself, is 19, and remember, this is checking for equality. So is 19 equal to 18? No, right? 19 is not equal to 18. So we will not run what's inside the if statement. We're going to run what's inside the else. So we will display, you can't vote yet. Okay? Now you're probably like, Marsh, that seems broken. If I'm 19, I should be able to vote. These programs are not the best, right? They're not going to run all the time perfectly. Let's check the next example. So what if I'm 14? All right, let's do some erasing here. Erase. Erase the 9. Erase the 9. All right. Change to my pen again. Oh. All right, so 14 is this example. So again, memory, 14. So it's going to check, is 14 equal to 18? No, right? So again, the else will run because that's a false statement. If it's false, that means the else has to happen. So again, we also would display or print, you can't vote yet. Last one, 18. So I'm going to make this for an 18. This one, I'm going to make that an 8 as well. So now, if statement. If 18 is equal to 18, is that a true statement? Is 18 equal to 18? Well, yeah, right? 18 is definitely equal to 18. So again, this time, since that's a true statement, I will run inside of the if and run that. So I will say, you can vote. Okay? Not terrible by any means. Now, remember, we have these other relational operators available for us to use. Again, we have our less than symbol. Remember, if you're struggling, if you straighten that out, you make that one side a little longer, you'll make a L. Makes it easier for you. So we have all of these different operations for us to be able to use. We have a less than, a greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and remember, this guy is the not. equal to. So we got that option as well. Let's take a look at an example with a relational operator. So again, we have a variable called age, and we're going to check to see is age greater than 17. If it is greater than 17, we will say you can see an R-rated film without an adult. Else, so if that's not a true statement, we will say better get your parents to come along. So let's check. Is 19, because that's age, right? So that's what we're assuming they're going to type in as input. Is 19 equal to 17? Yeah, right? 19 is greater than 17. That is a true statement. So what I would display is you can see an R-rated film. Okay? What if 17? So if instead of 19, we do 17. So that's what they typed in. Then the computer's going to check. Is 17 greater than 17? No, right? That's equal to, not greater. So what we'll display this time is, since that's not a true statement, it is a false statement, we will display the else section of my if else. So we'll put better get your parents to come along. Okay, let's check 13. So instead of 17, we're going to put 13. That's what they typed in. So we're going to check, is 13 greater than 17? Definitely not, right? 13 is definitely not greater than 17. Since that's the case, again, we're going to run the false portion of our if else, which is the else portion. So we're going to display, better get your parents to come along. Also for 13. And that's the end of this if-else video. We're going to fix guessing game to make it so it displays something if they don't guess the right answer. So it's going to give us a little bit more of an example of if-else statements. But until then, I will see you later, Sabers.